The FBI just raided John Bolton's home and the media wasted no time spinning the story. This is just absolutely catching them in the act. And instead of asking hard questions like they should have been, they're already running cover for John Bolton and attacking Donald Trump. They're intentionally shaping the opinions of the weak-minded, and I caught them here live on tape. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Make sure you hit subscribe, you like and share this video, and hit the notification bell to be notified of new uploads.
We have breaking news just now. FBI agents have raided former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton's Washington, D.C. area home early this morning. A source familiar with the matter tells NBC News that the FBI agents raided Bolton's home in Bethesda, Maryland this morning as part of a, quote, national security investigation in search of classified records.
So now pay attention to how fast the media jumps into the anti-Donald Trump rhetoric. Before the dust even settles, before there's any information about, they're already framing this raid as some kind of Trump vendetta. They don't have any evidence. They don't have any clues. They don't have any proof. They don't have anything, just their narrative shoved down your throat. And this next clip shows exactly how they do it. Take a look.
The FBI has not commented, but in a seemingly related post just made on X, FBI Director Kash Patel wrote moments ago, "No one is above the law. FBI agents on mission." We've reached out to National Security Advisor Bolton. He has not responded yet, Claire. We don't know a lot yet. This just happened. The source telling us it's about classified records, perhaps, a national security investigation. But we should note here, John Bolton, who did briefly work for Donald Trump as National Security Advisor in his first term, has turned into a fierce Trump critic. We just actually, just a few days ago, spoke about him here on this show because he thought that the president's summit in Alaska with Vladimir Putin was going to be a disaster. In fact, even before the summit occurred, he said that Trump had handed Putin a win. In fact, Trump went to social media to criticize Bolton for those comments. And now, a few days later, we have this. We don't know there's a link, but we certainly know this is a president who has promised retribution.
So there's the first hint of it, right? This was a president that promised retribution. That must be what it is. And it gets even more ludicrous from here. Take a look.
The source telling us it's about classified records, perhaps, a national security investigation. But we should note here, John Bolton, who did briefly work for Donald Trump as National Security Advisor in his first term, has turned into a fierce Trump critic. We just actually, just a few days ago, spoke about him here on this show because he thought that the president's summit in Alaska with Vladimir Putin was going to be a disaster. In fact, even before the summit occurred, he said that Trump had handed Putin a win.
Yeah, it's chilling. It really is. Listen, John Bolton and I disagreed on many things back in the days when I was serving in public office, but I don't think very many people that know John Bolton would argue that his beliefs were intellectually sound. You could disagree with him, and that he gave a lot to this country in terms of time and his intellect and his work ethic. And clearly this is retribution. Clearly this is using the FBI in a way that not only tarnishes the FBI, but it tarnishes our country. I mean, this is what they do in countries where they don't have rule of law. This is what happens when despots take over, like Putin.
This is what happens when despots take over, like Putin, right? This is what's ridiculous. This is why Donald Trump is so hated, is because the media takes stories like this and they twist Donald Trump into the most evil person on the planet. The fact is, this is rule of law, and nobody's above the rule of law. When Mar-a-Lago was raided, they were sitting there talking, celebrating this, saying that, nobody's above the law, nobody's above the law. They celebrated this fact before the facts and the evidence were out. And now here John Bolton is being raided, and all of a sudden it's because Donald Trump wants revenge. And this is the political attack, attack that Donald Trump is doing for retribution and revenge. Donald Trump is the one that they use the law against. Donald Trump is the one and so what's happening is people out there, the crazy people, the people already with mental problems are becoming so hateful that they're taking action to attack Donald Trump and try to assassinate him. We've seen that multiple times, and that's only the times that we know about. Let's watch it. It gets worse.
And John Bolton has always been critical of how, I mean, he about lost it when Trump wanted to invite the Taliban to Camp David. It's chilling. Now, do I think they're ever going to have evidence to convict this man of anything in a court of law with a jury? No, they won't. But they can make him miserable.
So this is, again, it's casting judgment. She is the final sayer. And this is the problem with the media. We are catching it in the act right now. We are watching it happen. She's spinning this, saying that he did nothing wrong. We don't know anything about what he did yet. No information has been released. This is a conclusion based on hate.
Yeah, and Gene Robinson, again, we should stress, we don't know a lot about what's happening here. We saw FBI Director Kash Patel's social media post. John Bolton, former Trump national security advisor turned Trump critic, his home raided in Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah, look, I agree with Claire. I find it difficult, if not impossible, to believe that there's some reason to arrest John Bolton on national security grounds. I found plenty of reason to disagree with John Bolton's positions, with his prescriptions for foreign policy over the years, but this seems to be just blatant, bald-faced retribution because Donald Trump doesn't like him and sees him as having, betrayed him, and so he gets arrested. It is chilling. It is disgraceful.
If Donald Trump wanted to go after somebody that betrayed him, why wouldn't he go after Pence? Why wouldn't he go after somebody that we care about, we know about? Why would he go after John Bolton of all the people to go after? This is ludicrous to sit here and defend this guy as if Donald Trump has thought about him or it keeps him in the back of his mind. This is not it. If Donald Trump wanted retribution, this isn't the first guy that they would go after. This is just bottom line. This is not who we'd go after. And for us to sit here in the media and listen to this rhetoric, he said, I find it very difficult to believe that John Bolton could ever be arrested for anything national security related. This guy's not in the FBI. He doesn't know what the FBI has. He doesn't know what the intelligence community has on John Bolton. To sit here and think that Donald Trump is only acting on retribution, this isn't even the guy that he would go after in the first place.
And I doubt, frankly, how many months into the second Trump administration are we? I doubt this is the last time we're going to see this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen throughout the administration, John, the president, as he had said during the campaign, enacting forms of retribution against people who he felt had crossed him or betrayed him or had been critical of him, and none more so than people who had worked for him before that. We saw that with the members of his previous administration who had their security clearances stripped because for some reason they fell afoul of what the president was saying or doing. And I doubt that John Bolton, it's hard to believe that John Bolton has anything in his home that could incriminate him in some way. But it's also quite possible to think that he is not the last of people that the president would like to see punished in some way for what he sees as disloyalty.
Yeah. And again, we don't know yet. This is a developing story. Just happened a short time ago.
This is literally the third time that somebody in this news clip on MSNBC said, I find it hard to believe that this guy has something in his house that is going to be incriminating. That's the problem that with what we're seeing in the media. They should be reporting the facts, not sitting there speculating that this guy doesn't have anything in his house. What's going to happen is, as we learn more, we're going to find out, was this raid justified? What sort of evidence did they have? Is he going to be brought up on charges? Right now, we have nothing to go on. And so to sit there and say, I don't believe that this man has any, it is literally just creating hate. It is just creating anger, and it is dividing this country. And this is the problem. Calling it out for what it is very important. And I'm really glad that you are part of it, because the same players who, celebrated no one is above the law, these people were all talking about no one's above the law when it was used against Trump and Mar-a-Lago, right? Mar-a-Lago, they're now gaslighting the narrative and painting Bolton as some sort of victim of Trump's animosity. And as soon as the FBI shows up at his home, instead of waiting to find out what the evidence is, they're jumping and creating more hate for Donald Trump. Bolton hasn't been charged. He hasn't been detained. That's what we know. We don't know what's going on with this classified documents probe. We have to wait to find out. But to sit there and say it's some sort of witch hunt because he criticizes Trump is ridiculous. Trump wouldn't waste his time with this guy. Listen, what I want you to do with this video is make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to be following this story. So if you want notifications about the next update, make sure you hit like, subscribe on this video, and hit that notification bell to let us know, so that we can let you know when new videos are posted. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.